tied the knot. In tonight, 1919. In tonight's Forrest File, Jeff Forrest introduces us to this couple celebrating 70 years of marriage.
The day was October 22nd, 1919. 23-year-old dairy farmer Norbert Rentmeester and 25-year-old Mary Loy were pronounced man and wife. 70 years later, they're still by each other's side. But what did Mary see in young Norbert?
He was good looking. That's all.
Is he still good looking?
Oh, yes.
Okay, Norbert, your turn. What about Mary?
Oh, she's nice looking.
You're looking for a quarter, huh?
Norbert and Mary didn't have a honeymoon, no. They had to go straight to work on the family dairy farm. And they still live here today.
Now with 70 years of marriage under their belt, Norbert and Mary have quite a large family. Let's see, they had 6 of their own children, 25 grandchildren, 43 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren.
In 70 years of marriage, Norbert and Mary managed to escape without any big arguments. How?
A woman is always going to say yes, even if you don't agree, but you still have to say yes, and then you agree with them.
So whenever you get into an argument, you say yes?
Yes, I got to say yes. Always did.
Norbert and Mary raised 6 children during the Depression years and say they had lots of hard times, but plenty of good ones too. And through it all, they could always count on each other.
When she needed help, I was always there. And when I needed, she was there.
Is that the key?
And who could argue? With 70 years of wedded bliss. Jeff Forrest, Action 2 News, Green Bay.
Who seem, well, almost human. In tonight's Forrest File, Jeff visits an affectionate pooch named Major. Watch.
Give me a big hug. Good boy. Good boy.
9-year-old Major is what you'd call a big old lovable pooch. Maybe it's his breed, part German Shepherd, part Labrador, and part Beagle. One day, about 7 years ago, he started laying his head on the shoulder of anyone who asked for a hug.
Anywhere, any time of the day, if you want a hug, call him over, he'll give a hug to you. If he gets wound up, he'll give you bigger hugs.
Tim says if Major wants something, he'll give a lot of hugs to try to get his way. And how could you say no to something with a face like this?
I think it's nice. It's really nice.
You look forward to that?
Yeah, really, we do. It's like, you know, it's our kids are growing up now, and that's our kind of like our baby in the house.
It's really nice when you come in the house. There's Major. If you're not feeling good, gives you a hug.
Now they tell me Major even likes to hug strangers. We'll give it a try. Major, give me a hug. Come on, Major, give me a hug. Come on, boy. Come on. Big hug. Oh, but I am a huggable guy.
Hey, when it comes to teaching thermodynamics, for one Green Bay East High School teacher, there's no better way than floating pumpkins to get the point across. In tonight's Forrest File, Jeff tells us about the Great Pumpkin Rise.
For the past 2 days, these Green Bay East High School juniors have glued and cut tissue paper. It seems like art class, but it's actually a chemistry class preparing for tonight's Great Pumpkin Rise.
We wanted to make the gas laws a little bit more practical. And we're specifically studying Charles' law, which deals with the expansion of air or any gas with heat.
Oh, sure. I know it well. It's basically volume over temperature, in degrees Kelvin, of course. Thermodynamics was my minor.
Before the Great Pumpkin Rise tonight, the students have to check out their balloons to make sure they're going to work all right. Let's see how it works.
Up, up, and away. This one stopped at the ceiling, but at 7 tonight, the class will release 9 of these Great Pumpkin balloons near Main and East Mason Streets. Some will reach heights of several hundred feet before they fall back to Earth. What are the students learning from all this?
I'm learning that, that you need the right air to fill these, makes it rise. You can't just use any kind of air.
Do you think this is maybe a little bit better way to learn than just sticking your nose in a book?
Right.
Reading about it?
You bet.
This Great Pumpkin Rise experiment is a real team effort.
I want you to right now to take blue bottles and catch all the leaks.
About 5 people in each group, and we each, help put the balloons together. We cut out strips of paper and glue them together, and it's really fun.
Well, they may forget the name of it, but hopefully they'll remember one of its applications.
Pumpkin balloons made from tissue paper and Charles' Law. They seem to have that perfect chemistry. Jeff Forrest, Action 2 News, Green Bay.
And if you think back about your favorite winter memory as a youngster, chances are sledding is right up there. In tonight's Forrest File, Jeff shows us a 1-year-old Appleton girl and her favorite sledding partner.
1-year-old Victoria Ison is ready to go sledding, and so is her dog Amber. And she's off and sledding.
We decided to give the dog some exercise in the winter and take the kid out sledding, and we got tired of pulling the sled all the time. So
You guys did.
Yeah.
So let's have the dog do it.
Right, so we hooked the dog up because she was just walking alongside all the time. So we thought, well, let's try to think of something to have her pull the sled.
Last winter, Leslie and her husband bought a special harness for Amber and devised 2 padded tow ropes, if you will, to pull the sled.
Amber weighs 3 times as much as 20-pound Victoria. She's pulled her for up to a half hour at a time. In fact, the only reason they have to stop is because Victoria gets cold.
So what's it like for Victoria to go sledding behind Amber? Well, it probably looks something like this.
She seems to enjoy it. She laughs and has fun. She doesn't cry, so I figured it's okay.
Who has more fun, Victoria riding the sled or Amber pulling it?
I think Amber does because she likes to be outside. She'll be outside even in snowstorms, just laying down in the snow.
As long as Amber is around, you've got the feeling Victoria's life will always be smooth sledding. Jeff Forrest, Action 2 News, Appleton.
Thank you.
Fairs and carnivals, and when they're hungry, they head for the food booths for treats.
Popsicles, cotton candy, snow cones, and popcorn.
While these treats do taste good, they provide little of the calories and important nutrients for a growing child.
We need to look at where are the nutrients coming from, and if we get too many empty calories, then there isn't room enough to get the nutrients in there.
Russ says children need snacks, but parents need to make a better choice of their snacks. Some parents say they do make an effort to limit so-called bad snacks like cotton candy.
Well, I try to watch so they don't get too much of that sugar stuff in them.
You think it's bad for them?
Oh, they get pretty wild.
In moderation, it's not an everyday thing. It's not 3-4 times a day either. Yeah, it's every once in a while.
Russ says most small children require between 2 and 3 snacks each day. But she says snacks like cotton candy and popcorn aren't necessarily all bad, as long as they're not eaten every day, and as long as they don't replace one of your child's 3 square meals each day.
The problem there is those foods are giving us calories, they're not giving us nutrients. And children in particular don't have a lot of room for extra calories that don't give them some nourishment.
Russ says there's no reason to deny your children these pleasures of summer. Just make sure treats don't become a staple in your child's diet. Jeff Forrest, Action 2 News, Green Bay.
The UWGB versus St. Louis game is a little more than an hour away, and as Jeff Forrest reports, the UWGB campus is buzzing with NIT excitement.
The hallways of UWGB's Student Services building have been redecorated in a Go GB, Win NIT motif.
Now, the hottest fashion statement on campus today is this official UWGB NIT t-shirt. It sells for $12.50, including tax. They've sold 300 so far.
The ladies in the UWGB admissions office were having a tough time concentrating on their work. They proudly wore their Phoenix Fever.
We wore these for them.
Is this kind of fun probably in the office?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you better believe it. Yes. We kind of feel like one of the kids.
That's all we talk about.
Really?
Yes.
Are you all going to be watching the game today?
We sure are.
During class changes, UWGB students strutted the halls in their red and green NITs. It's the talk of the campus.
Is this exciting?
Yes. Exhilarating. I can't believe we're doing it.
You're not going to be doing schoolwork tonight then?
Definitely not. You have to get your priorities straight.
UWGB assistant soccer coach Terry Powers has his priorities straight. He's rooting for the Phoenix, even though his hometown is St. Louis.
Some of the other staff members and the other coaches have been giving me a hard time this week about we're going to go get those Billiken, you know.
Any death threats or anything?
No, not yet.
These faithful Phoenix followers say there's just no way the Phoenix can lose.
Go, Phoenix! Beat St. Louis! Go, Phoenix!
They might. Hey, we'll see you again tonight at 10 o'clock. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Paul Cohen's Father's Day gift wasn't expensive, but to him it meant a lot. A handmade letter holder from his 8-year-old daughter, Nora. Perhaps even more special, a handmade card that said, "I love you." Paul and Nora spent their day at the park, playing softball as they often do. As a single parent, Paul says Father's Day now means different things to him.
I was just a father and not a single father. It was a celebration of the family. Now, I more or less feel like Father's Day is also Mother's Day. And and it's just a reminder of the kind of life that I lead now.
Nora says her dad is one of the best people she knows in the whole world, and he's a lot of fun.
I don't know what I'd do without him.
What do you like? What kinds of things do you like to do with your dad or spend time?
Well, I like to play softball with him.
Paul has custody of Nora for 11 months out of the year. It's been that way for the past 5 years. He says the experience has brought the two of them much closer together. Good. Paul says he and Nora now only have each other to turn to in good times and in bad. And he says his daughter comes first in his life.
I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I didn't have Nora. So I think I'll keep her.
You have to.
Jeff Forrest, Action 2 News, Appleton.